My name is Elizabeth Pampalone, and you're listening to the Absolute Marketing Podcast. Everyone knows that in business, you're going to run up against those people, the ones that basically give you the great stories to tell about your business. I've told many of these stories in my podcast over the years, and I asked a few friends if they could tell me their horror stories. So here are 3 short horror stories from a couple of my colleagues, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I did. So, horror stories. I know you have a couple. I want you to first say your name, just your company, and then I'm asking cool questions.
Okay. Right now?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Dr. Lauren Cost, and I own Revolution Chiropractic.
Okay, so tell me your horror story.
So, I got my first horror story very soon after opening my very first office, and I would say it was probably about 2 weeks in, so we were still brand new, and someone came into our office kind of expecting something that we don't really do. They were just expecting a different experience, mostly just a miscommunication, and we apologized for that when they left, and they ended up blasting us all over these review sort of sites, and they actually made us accounts on a few other review sites just so that they could post about us. And even though we tried to resolve it, we responded, we commented back about, we're so sorry, there was a misunderstanding. That kind of just fueled the fire, and so they commented even more, and I ended up refunding all of their money just to kind of squash the situation, and then we still got phone calls harassing us, and so we have since had to block that person from contacting us.
Just a horror story. One thing I could think of is one time I was going to court and I had to file a motion for a certain item for my clients, and it was the first time I had actually drafted that motion. And so I contacted another attorney that I knew, and she'd been practicing for over 10 years. And I said, okay, do I need to provide this other information? She said, no, you don't need that other information. They're not going to contest it. It's uncontested. All you need to do is your motion. And I said, okay. So I did my motion, and I didn't provide the other information. So I went before the judge, and the judge says, Ms. DeFranza, where's this other information? And I said, Your Honor, I don't have that other information, and it is not here. And he said, well, you're supposed to do this. And I said, Your Honor, it is my fault. I contacted another attorney, and they said if it was uncontested, I wouldn't need it, but that's my fault because I'm the bottom line. I didn't do that research to make sure I had all my information. And thankfully, I have a decent reputation in the community. And the judge said, Mr. Franza, I know you're always prepared and you're always detail-oriented, so I'm not going to deny your motion. We can reschedule the hearing. And next time, have your information. So, thankfully, there was no one else in the hearing room to witness that other than the judge's people, but that's my hearing. That's my horror story, and I'm sticking to it.
So, tell me a little bit about your horror story.
So, I actually block out bad things that happen to me. Just in general, I try to only remember the good things, so it's hard to remember one per se. And of course, I always try to use bad stories as a learning experience. But I did have a client once who hired myself and a colleague, and we got pretty much 90% through the project, and then suddenly she decided that she did not like what we were doing, either of us, and she said she wanted to go in a different direction, and we said, okay, that's fine. I mean, we got paid. It was all good. And yeah, it was kind of more odd than a horror story, but she ended up actually launching the website and the content that we created for her, so it was kind of bizarre. She still got everything out of it, so yeah, you always have those fun clients that don't tell you along the way they're not liking things, and then it comes as a surprise, so that's always horrifying.
Thanks for listening to the Absolute Marketing Podcast. If you'd like to learn more, please visit getabsolutemarketing.com.